Vocabulary set 2. This is a video. I'm going to introduce all the vocab words and walk you through the packet so you know what to do on your own. Number 1 is acquire, which is a verb. When you acquire, it means you gain ownership of something. You obtain it by your own actions. It means you get it. Only once he became the spokesperson for a brand of cereal could the rapper finally acquire the yellow sports car he always wanted. Synonyms, we have obtain. Antonyms would be lose or forfeit. 2, aspire. Aspire is to desire something eagerly, especially something important or in the future. So Beyonce always aspired to be a singer, but she never knew she'd become an actress as well. Synonyms, we have yearn or long for. Another form, even though Jojoba was young, he had lots of big aspirations. 3, chorus is a group of people trained to sing together, but it's also the part of a song that's repeated after each verse. So first meaning, the chorus was invited to sing at the White House. And then 2, the chorus to that song is so catchy. 4, conjure. Conjure is to make something happen or come into being as though by magic. The basketball captain announced that the team would have to conjure up $200 this year to pay for uniforms. Synonyms, summon. So it really means to have to come up with something. Another form is a conjurer, as a noun, is a magician who makes things appear. 5, defy. Defy means to resist efforts at or to refuse to obey. So number 1, this puzzle is known to defy solving. Don't even waste your time trying to find the solution. 2, and this meaning is used more often, the disobedient boy was always doing something to defy his father's rules. So some synonyms for the second meaning is to disobey or ignore. 6, firebrand. This is a noun, so it's a person. A firebrand is a troublemaker. It's someone who encourages others to rebel. So again, this one's a person. So Tony tried to get Lisa kicked off the school paper staff because he thought she was a firebrand. Synonyms, we have a rebel or an agitator. 7, gravity. Gravity is 1, very serious nature or matter. 2, the force by which all objects in the universe are attracted to each other. So number 1, Chloe didn't realize the gravity of her dad's illness until he was rushed to the hospital. 2, there is less gravity on the moon, so astronauts have been able to hop along the surface like kangaroos. Synonyms we have for number 1, importance, severity, seriousness. Antonyms for the first meaning is unimportance or silliness. 8, magnetic is 1, having the power to attract. 2, being able to attract iron. So number 1, Rhonda has a magnetic personality, which is probably why she's so popular. 2, some metals are more magnetic than others. 9, mirth. Mirth is joy, fun, and laughter. So it's a feeling. There was so much mirth around the Thanksgiving table. Everyone seemed to be smiling and enjoying themselves. Synonyms, glee. Antonyms would be sadness, distress. 10 is quench. Quench is to satisfy or to extinguish or put out. So if I've been at cheerleading practice and I'm thirsty, for some reason milk just doesn't quench my thirst. Ew. 2, luckily, the firefighters were able to quench the car fire. Subtle. When something's subtle, it means it's difficult to detect or define. You can't, it's like easy to miss. It's hard to see sometimes. That's the first meaning. The second meaning is causing delicate effects or able to make fine distinctions. So some kind of foods have subtle scents to it, which means it's a delicate scent. You can just, smell it a little bit. So the first meaning, there was subtle change in her son's attitude that only a very observant parent would notice. And then 2, the chicken had a very subtle flavor of lemon to it. I could barely taste it. So a synonym for both of these meanings would be faint. Faint, again, barely noticeable. Antonyms, blatant or obvious. 12, sullen. Someone who's sullen is silent or gloomy because they're angry or they're feeling resentment. After finding out that they weren't going to stop and get ice cream, the toddler became sullen and frowned quietly. Synonyms, glum and frowning. Antonym would be cheerful. 13, toxic means poisonous or causing harm. Don't drink laundry detergent, it's toxic. 14 is urgent. Something that's urgent needs fast attention or action. So Rory ran out of homeroom with an urgent note for his friend Camille. And then the last one, wary. You describe someone as wary if they are cautious and watchful. They're careful of danger. So in certain cities, you need to be wary of thieves who might try to pick your pocket. Okay, on the next page, you have to figure out which word belongs in the sentence. The bolded wrong is incorrect, so you need to find out which one belongs and write the correct word on the line. Now remember to skip around. Don't go in order. Do the easy ones first. Cross them out up top as you go. So there are 15 of these. And then you are going to, for this one, circle the word that finishes the sentence. Use the other word in a sentence of your own on the line. So for example, number 1, I returned your call quickly because my mother told me it was urgent. So you would circle urgent and use subtle in your own sentence on the line. 2F, each vocab word has a match. That match is either a synonym or an antonym. Then we have our text, which I will read in just a second. So you can always come back to this if you want it read out loud. But there's a story with 5 questions. And then the last one is their creative questions. So I'm going to go ahead and read this text, the Hip Hop Houdini. You don't have to do this part now. So you could stop the video and start on the other pages and come back to this if you want it read out loud when you're doing this page. Here I go. When David Blaine was growing up in the 1970s, not a lot of kids aspired to become magicians. But Blaine defied these norms. From the moment he acquired his first magic trick, Blaine knew that he wanted to amaze people for a living. As a child, he devoted all his spare time to learning and practicing tricks. Shortly after high school, Blaine moved to New York City. He worked as a waiter during the day, and at night he performed magic at private parties. Blaine's specialty was close-up magic. He would use simple props like playing cards and cigarettes to astound party guests. From the beginning, Blaine's style was different from many conjurers. Most magicians at the time had a mirthful approach to their craft. They told goofy jokes and aimed their shows at families. Blaine was a firebrand who wanted to bring a sense of danger back to magic. He filled his tricks with a sense of gravity. He took his tricks seriously and had a magnetic personality that made people like him. Because of his youth and fashionable appearance, he became known as the Hip Hop Houdini. His unique style soon caught the eye of Hollywood. In 1997, ABC aired a TV special called David Blaine, Street Magic, which showed Blaine performing tricks for people on the street. The special was a huge success and made Blaine a household name. Since then, Blaine had become probably the world's most talented magician. In 1999, he lived in a tiny glass coffin for 7 days. A few years later, he lived inside a box over the River Thames in London for 44 days. In 2008, he broke a world record by holding his breath for 17 minutes and 4.4 seconds. As incredible as it may seem, none of these feats were tricks. They were real stunts that Blaine performed to test the limits of the human body. Not everyone loves David Blaine. Some people are wary of his stunts, thinking he just wants attention. No matter what you might think about Blaine's stunts, however, there's no doubt he's made a tremendous impact on the world of magic.